Hi, here I'm going to give you just a few highlights of my independent study work, and I'm proud even to be doing this in that I've never before done a PowerPoint, so this is my very first time, and I'm going to try to keep my expectations relatively low and hope that this comes through at least mostly clearly. Thank you. So this is my outline, and I just have 4 topics here. I don't try to cover all of the things that I did in the independent study, but for these 4, I'm going to talk a little bit about visits to career centers, 3 different career centers, and then next a particular TED Talk that came out of one of those visits that I was referred to. Then briefly what I found out about career development in New Hampshire high schools, and then finally a little bit of a conclusion about career offices today. So for my first visit, I went right in my neighborhood to the New Hampshire Works office in Concord, New Hampshire, and it was a little interesting how I even got the appointment. They would make an appointment with me really only if I were a client, and that actually wasn't so hard because in fact I am a job seeker myself this summer, and once they knew that they could put me in that category, it was easier for them to meet with me and tell me about their services. So I had a delightful hour with a woman there, an advisor, and I learned quite a bit of that could in fact help me, except I haven't had time to really, because of taking this course, I haven't had the full time that I might have had to spend on my own job search, but I've learned some things that will help me when I do get that time. And maybe I won't really even need it because my job search will be successful by the end of the summer. But that's another story. Okay. So for my next visit, I went down to my old hometown, which is Amherst, Massachusetts. And I met with a friend of mine there who's worked for quite a while in the Amherst College career office, which of course at Amherst College, like with many other things, they want to stay state of the art. And so it was very interesting to hear about the recent changes that the office had been through in terms of how they organize themselves. And I'll show you a little bit about that here. And for something very different, for a different kind of a college, I went to, I paid a visit to Keene State College, which happens to be halfway between where I currently live and my old hometown in Amherst, Mass. And I don't know Keene State as well as I know Amherst College, but I met with a delightful person there who had recently moved there from working at UNH. So she was able to give me the perspective of the larger state college as well as the smaller, primarily liberal arts college, which is Keene. And she got me thinking about a number of issues having to do with career advising on any college campus. And the visit was very fruitful. And as you'll see, she mentioned a particular talk that I'm going to have a TED Talk that I wanted to go right away to watch because of how she explained how influential it's becoming. So here's the TED Talk, and the title really heightened my interest. It's called "Career Services Must Die." And this guy must know what he's doing in a lot of ways, but primarily in how he, first of all, on how he titled his talk, because it's no wonder that it's getting as much attention as it has when you talk about, almost seem to be talking about the demise of your profession or what they have to do to resurrect kind of moribund career services in many college campuses. So I have tried to provide the link to the talk here, and if you haven't already heard it, I highly recommend it. It really gets you thinking about what college is for, and what career service, what academics are for, what career services are for, and how they all need to work together. Again, so what I feel is so interesting about this talk, after you've had a chance to listen to it, is that it really gets you thinking about, first of all, how engaged students need to be in their own process of understanding who they are and what kind of work will be best for them when they emerge from college. Because in a way, you can think of that's one of, if not the most important goal of college, is to sort of join your own knowledge about yourself and who you are to the whole world out there, and what's interesting about the world, what's most interesting about the world to you, and what your place will be in it. And you need to do that with the help of lots of people, people who have had maybe some more life experience than you have had, but who can help guide you. And those people can be in the career office, but they can be in all kinds of other offices and outside the campus entirely. And it's your job as a student really to try to bring these things together on your own behalf. So now I'm moving, at least briefly, to the area of what's happening on the high school level, at least just in this state in New Hampshire. And this is a very brief summary, really, of what I've found out, and I'm still investigating this because the fact is, I may be hoping to find a job in one of these high schools. I myself am a certified English teacher. I'm not certified as a counselor, but I'm hoping that with the certification from this course, I may be able to find, who knows, a position where I could combine the skills that I have for teaching writing, literature, and perhaps in some cases helping with all of the things that are going on in terms of career development at a high school. So I'm trying to kind of market myself in different ways. Anyway, I'm very interested to find out what's happening at high schools and whether there's any sort of consistent approach to career development in the high schools. And so far, what I'm finding is it's really all over the map, and particularly different in quote unquote regular high schools and more specified career centers, which are located in different areas around the state. So I'm wondering if this is the way it's going to stay, or whether there's going to be more of an effort to strengthen the career development curriculum in each of the regular public high schools also. So here we come to my last slide, which is entitled Career Offices Services Must Be Nimble. And this is just because I think all of us can see that there's no one set way of doing these things, either on the state level. The services are pretty consistent, I guess. Although I've been to offices in Connecticut, in Massachusetts, and now in New Hampshire, and I think that the degree of traffic through the offices maybe varies a lot, but the services they offer are pretty consistent. In colleges, there seems to be a lot of movement about what, a little dizzying at times, about where career services are best placed within the whole structure of the university or the college. And in high schools, it seems to me like there's still a lot of work to be done with younger students to get them thinking earlier about really who they are. I didn't mention this on this particular presentation, but I went to my own son's school, high school, last fall, and I did a presentation, kind of a how do you know who you are before you even think about what you want to do. And I found that the students were very interested in it, and they hadn't had anything like it. And that just got me back interested in this whole field, actually, because I feel as if they're crowded as the high school curriculum is for students, and how many things they feel they have to chuck off what they need to do. I think a very strategic curriculum for career development, perhaps through, these wonderful online programs like Naviance, for students, which I see provides an entire in-depth curriculum. But students need to see it as a priority, and they need to feel that they're being encouraged to take the time to do it, apart from their AP courses and their sports and everything else, because there's no better time really to start thinking about who they are and what they're going to be happiest doing for the long term. Even though we all know we change careers, it's fine to change careers, but still very helpful to get some sense, even when you're a teenager, about the direction that you're likely to head. So that concludes this, my very first PowerPoint, and I'm hoping that it made some sense to you, and I certainly know how much I gained from the work and from trying to display some of what I learned through this course. Thank you.